Are we live? And I need folks to make sure they can hear me. So I have my laptop right here. And just as folks are coming in, please let me know if you can hear me. I am trying a little bit of a different setup. So I just want to make sure that everything is coming through and I can be heard by you. I should be able to, I think. So yeah, just let me know. Please, as you're coming in right now, welcome, welcome. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. And I did say I was going to step up my live game this month. I was feeling a little bit under the weather last week, but I'm feeling so much better right now. So I was like, let me go here on the YouTube. I haven't done a live in a while. So let me come over here and see how my family is doing over here. So I just sent out a text. So some of you may be coming in from the text that you just received to join. So go ahead if you're in and just let me know that you are live. And I'm just trying to check and see if I see the audio levels coming in. So forgive my voice also. I do have some water here. So you may hear me so it looks like my audio levels are coming in. You may hear me get a little bit scratchy. So I have my water right here. So I'm going to make sure I'm drinking it. So my voice is not getting too bad, but it's much better than it was. Okay. It's definitely much better than it was. Praise him for that. So come on in. We have a very good topic. We have a very, very good topic tonight that we're going to be chatting about for our online boutique owners, for our e-commerce people. Come on in. And so it looks like hopefully the link went out. Let me make sure that the link that everyone just received was correct. Did you know how that goes? Sometimes it is not. Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure if it sent out the right link. So let me send it out again. Let me send that link out again because I'm not sure it went out properly, you guys. I cut and paste it, but sometimes things don't work out well. So I'm going to resend that text out to everyone. And okay. So please see updated link here. Yeah, this should definitely work for people if that first one did not work. And feel free as you're coming in to share this link. I am going to leave this page up, or this video up rather, when I'm finished. So feel free to just tag people in because I will give an opportunity, of course, for people to ask questions. So if folks want to join live, definitely share the link with them and tell them to come on and join. And I'm going to try to at least be here for about an hour, hopefully. We'll see how the conversation is going. And I want to wait until some people come in the room before I really get into it and get it started. But just to give you guys an update on me while we're waiting on that, I have done a complete rebrand of a lot of the visuals and things that you see from me. So if you have been following me for a little bit, then you might see that my channel is looking a little different. We have some different colors. We have some new pictures. We have a little bit of a different look going on. So yes, we've been doing all that. That's kind of where I spent kind of the first month of the year, is really focusing on kind of just revamping my brand, making sure that I'm getting things in order. I have 2 signature programs now, so my service offerings have changed. If you've been rocking with me for a little while, then you may notice that you're seeing some different things from me. So I am doing that now. And if you want to check out just some of my updates, you can definitely go to my website, brandcoachangel.com. And of course, it was formerly angelmillsbrandstrategy.com. And I still have that domain pointing to my website as well. So if you want to check out what my signature programs are. But where I'm really focusing my energy now is working with people who are interested in transitioning from the 9 to 5 grind and who are ready and willing and able to start to transition completely into entrepreneurship. And so just a few years ago, that was definitely me. I was, working at a job. I started my business on the side and I totally wasn't ready, but I ended up, leaving that job and just going into my business full time. And that was over a year ago, probably going on 2 years that happened. So I definitely understand that struggle. And so when I was really thinking about how to really focus my offerings and focus my energy in my business, I was like, I really want to work with people who are in a very similar position, right? Who are wanting to leave those jobs. Maybe they're not happy with them. What's been very interesting is, like, since the pandemic, so many people have had to leave their jobs literally because, they've been laid off, or they have to stay home and homeschool their kids. So it just literally just doesn't work anymore for them to be working full time. And so I've had people who have talked to me who are transitioning out of degree programs and are struggling because the job market just doesn't look the same as it did when they first started those programs. And so as they come out and they're really looking for employment that kind of speaks to their new skill set, they're struggling with that. And I was able to host a discussion on Clubhouse a few weeks ago, kind of talking about how it was titled, "Your Degrees Aren't Getting You Paid." So in that discussion, we kind of talked about having advanced degrees, especially, and how kind of you have this expectation that you're going to get these degrees and that as a result, your income is going to increase and you're going to be more valued in the workplace. And for some people, that's totally the case, right? You get these advanced degrees and you see a difference in your income and you're seeing a difference in how you're treated and your value to an organization. But of course, for everyone, that is not the case. And it's not always because the degrees are not relevant, but it can just be because maybe it isn't as valued in the traditional workspace. But it doesn't mean that you cannot develop your own business and that those skills would not be valuable to you. So that's a big part of it as well. So I want to go ahead and get into, I know I went a little bit off on a tangent, but I do want to let you know. So you see in the bottom corner that there is a number there. If you want to join my text messaging community, and basically what this community is an opportunity for people to know every time I'm live, and I go live a few times a week. I host conversations like these where I share tips and I allow people to come in and ask questions. So if you're interested in joining that community, I want to invite you to do so. And so go ahead and text She Live to the number below, and it's super simple. You'll get a text message. I'll send you a text message each time I'm live. I won't send you a text about anything else, so don't be concerned about that. And it's a great opportunity to just come in, get a little bit more acquainted with me, get some more knowledge, meet some other really great brand builders. I'm always telling people, as you come into the comments, make sure that you're introducing yourself. You're telling me where you're from, what you're about. This is a great place to not only learn, but to network with the other people in the Angel Mills Brand Strategy community. And so there's a lot of go-getters. There's a lot of people who may be in similar positions to you who are also looking to leave their jobs, or maybe they already have, and maybe they have some insight that they can share with you. So it's really great to be a part of that community. So without further ado, I do want to get into these awesome tips, and we're still waiting for some more people to join us, but I'm going to get into the tips. I don't mind repeating them if new folks come in while I'm talking, and answering a few questions as well. So I have, you may see me looking over to the side. I have them written down so I do not forget. And this is in no particular order. And I do want to say some of these tips definitely relate to other things that I'm going to say. So just be prepared for that. But the top reason, I'm not going to say the top reason, one of the reasons why, well, before I get into that, let me pause. Okay, let me organize my thoughts. Let me pause. So let me tell you why I wanted to talk about this topic. I wanted to really get into this topic is because personally, just as a coach, I feel a lot of, what is the word I want to use? A little unsettled sometimes when it comes to working with clients who have online stores and online boutiques, because I think it's a very challenging game. It's a very different way, especially those who have product based, more specifically physical product based stores. And I find that they can be very challenging to market. And it's a very interesting game. It's a very different game from if you're doing coaching, for example, or you're providing services, or even if you're providing digital products. A lot of times your customer base may look different. The way in which you approach your marketing is different. And so I do some work with clients who have online businesses, more specifically online boutiques. And there are some common challenges that I'm seeing come up for them. And I wanted to address that in this video and kind of share some of my thoughts and advisement on it. And then, of course, open up the floor and invite you in the comments to ask questions about what I'm sharing and this is really coming from an experience perspective. I keep a close eye on trends and kind of what's working. Of course, there are a lot of product-based businesses that are doing amazing stuff. And I have even thought about like, man, I remember at some point during the pandemic thinking like, man, I need a physical product. Like everybody seems to have a physical product, and physical products in the really early stages of the pandemic when we were really at home seemed to do so well. And so I was like, man, should I have like something that I'm selling, like a physical thing? And so I totally get, I think when you're first starting a business, a lot of people go that route, right? They think of something, they get into the drop shipping. It's getting really popular now. You have sites like Printful that enable you to do print on demand. So it's really open up. That market is really open for people to join it. And because it's really open, it's kind of saturated as well. That doesn't mean that people can't be successful in it, but it does mean that you have a lot of competition when you're coming into the market. And so that brings me to one of my first challenges that I see a lot of online boutique owners having. And that is that the items that they're selling are common. Rather, they are common. So if you're getting your items, for example, if you're going to like AliExpress, or because a lot of people have manufacturers that are like in China and places like that, overseas in Asia, and they're getting items that are not like, there's other people out there who are selling the same stuff. That's kind of where I'm going with that point. So some people are making special products that maybe they're working with a manufacturer overseas, but they're kind of designing and tweaking the product so it's customized. That costs a ton of money to do. But of course, the more cost-efficient way to first enter into this type of market is purchasing clothing, which we see that a lot with people doing online boutiques, where they're purchasing clothing that already exists from a wholesaler. Sometimes some of us live in cities within the United States where we may have a garment district or something, and we can go and actually purchase the items ourselves, or we may have to place orders from overseas and get them shipped to us. So for one, that can be challenging, right? Because you're selling something that essentially isn't rare, right? This person could, in theory, maybe go on an Alibaba or an eBay and get the item themselves, or go to a Fashion Nova or something like that and get a very similar item. So that's one of the challenges right there, is that a lot of times these items are not artisanal, they're not handmade, they're not super unique. And so conversely, if you're in this space where your item is really unique, maybe you hand make it, maybe it's something you don't hand make, but you work with a manufacturer to custom design what it is, that's a little bit different, right? And that is something that can help you stand out from a marketing perspective, right? But if you're selling something that a lot of it already exists out in the world and it's accessible to people, that can be very challenging. The second piece that I'm noticing is, actually, I'm going to skip that one. So a lot of people only like their content, I notice on social media, any content that they're putting out is just buy this, buy this, buy this. So I worked with someone who, and mind you, this woman actually did have a product that she was making herself. But all of her content, when I went on her page, I was like, you don't have any content that engages your audience. It's really just having a picture of the product and telling them to buy it. Like that's literally all it is. And then she had a little bit of like influencer content. She had been sending the items to some influencers and they had done a little content and she reshared that. But there wasn't really any, which brings me to my third point. There was no content around building a community around her items. And so that's going to go, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in the solution part of this conversation. But definitely when you're thinking about if you're in the space where you have this online store and you feel like, well, I don't know what content to post, a lot of it is because you're focused all of your energy around the item that you're selling. And most likely, whatever it is you're selling, even if it is handmade or even if it is something you're manufacturing special, there's probably still a million of it out there. So you focusing all of your energy, unless this item is so cutting edge and so different that like nobody can get it anywhere else, like you have to sell something else, right? And you have to sell the community aspect. You have to sell something I work a lot with my clients on is looking at the Maslow's hierarchy of needs pyramid. You have to sell self-actualization. You have to sell something that you have to create an experience that connects this person to this brand so that even though there's a lot of other options that they have out there, they're going to go with you. So that could look like certain things, like if you're a Black-owned business and this person, your particular client is, or customer base are people who want to support Black-owned businesses, then maybe you highlight the fact that you are a Black-owned business and that your business has values around supporting Black entrepreneurship. Like it's things like that that will make someone choose to say, you know what, I can get this product. Maybe I can get it at Walmart, where I can get it at Target. And sometimes when you're going into this product-based business, that's who you're competing against. You can never win against them. But at least you can say, that person may say, instead of getting it more conveniently at a Target or Walmart, I'm going to go with this person because they have values that I believe in. But we're going to get more into that in a moment. Where are we? Fourth one is not being, I'm going to go because some of these are sub points. So I'm going to go on to number 4. Number 4 being you don't know your target audience. That's a big piece because a lot of times I speak to people and if they answer like, just stop saying this, y'all. Your target audience is not everybody. It's just not. I'm not going to keep going through this with y'all. Everybody's telling you this, okay? Because I'll talk to somebody and it's everybody. I'm like, stop it. Stop it. Because I know every single podcast you've listened to, every other person in this industry that you've spoken to has told you it's not. So stop. No. Okay, period. We're not going to do that anymore. No more in 2021 are we saying that. Your target audience is not everybody. And so if you don't understand, a lot of people don't have a target audience. And then if you don't have the target audience, your target audience literally drives everything that you do. It drives how you market, where you market, the types of content you produce, the types of copy and wording and messaging that you use in your marketing. It determines everything. And so a lot of people run out of content ideas and run out of marketing ideas or kind of just overall get stuck because they're not focusing in on any particular market of people. So that kind of brings me to some of my other points. And I guess we're at number 5 now, not being on the right social media channels. And a lot of this is due to the fact that you don't know your audience, right? You haven't identified a certain segment of people, and then you don't really know anything about them. So you don't know where they hang out, where they shop, the types of looks that they like to buy. So when you're putting together your store, for example, if you're putting together a clothing store, you're putting things on there that you like and you think is cute. not really looking at the audience of people that you're trying to attract and what they would wear, right? So if you're approaching professional women, they may dress differently than a young lady who's in college, who's not yet working, right? Their lifestyles may be different. Their income may be different. So all of those things are going to influence just everything, pricing as well, not just merch, not just your merchandise. So really understanding that target audience is so key. Like, I cannot stress that enough. All of the other answers come from that. And another thing, we have a physical product, especially if it's something relating to fashion. You want to be on social channels that allow you to do a lot of visual types of content. So things like Pinterest, Instagram. Of course, you want to look at your target audience and see where they are, but you also have to understand that you're going to focus more so on the visual platforms and creating content that is going to engage that person in the experience of your brand, right? And using the visuals of the clothing, right, to support that. Okay, so that kind of goes back to the earlier point of part of that, part of the issue being you're only focusing on selling clothes. You cannot, or you only focus on selling whatever the product is. That's not going to work. You have to have a mission. You have to have a vision. You have to have some sort of brand. And that's what your brand literally is. Your brand is not your product. You have to have a brand that connects people and brings them in. And so what they say is, this is your brand. What you sell is clothes, right? Your brand is not what you sell. It's not. Okay. So what I want to, and let me take a sip of water because I feel a cough coming on. You know, I'm coming over a sickness. I'm coming off of sickness. So I want to offer you guys the opportunity to check out this free masterclass that I am extending to everyone in my community. 1 second, I'm going to cough. Let me sip another little bit of water. Okay, here we are. Alrighty, so I want to offer you a free masterclass. It's linked in my description. And so in that masterclass, I go into more detail about this. I'm not going to have time to go into it really deep on this video, but I really talk about what the 5 elements of a brand is. And I inform you of, like, these are all the things that you need to have a strong brand so that you're able to market effectively. So where I call it the brand from scratch framework. And so where this framework comes from is me working with clients and really working with them for marketing. That's what I initially did when I started my business, and realizing they didn't have a brand in order, right? And realizing we can't really market because you don't have a brand to market, you know? So we can't actually do that. And so when I transitioned into coaching, I was like, what I'm really passionate about is building out a framework of all the elements that your brand needs to have so that people have these things in order before they start trying to market. So I think we're at 0.5 now, but yeah, where I was speaking about the no target audience, right? And that's one of the pieces that is an essential element of your brand, is understanding the who. Okay, so I think we went to I think I made number 6. No, wait, are we at 6 already? Shoot, I done lost track, but I know I got 2 more left. Okay, well, whatever. We're going to say we have 5. So not being on the right social channels. And then the other 2 are not creating an engaging community. So we talked about that, not building that community. So understanding who your target audience is, and then actually building a community of people that represent that, and creating an experience for them with your brand so that they feel connected to your brand, but they also feel connected to one another. So when we look at brands that are doing phenomenal, like the really big, crazy brands out there, what's coming to mind is Apple. Apple does a phenomenal job of making you feel connected to their products, okay, and also feel connected to other people who use their products. And we see that just from sending a text message. Because we all know if someone sends you a text message and you have an iPhone and they have an iPhone, your messages turn blue. If somebody sends you a text message and they have an Android, they're not part of the club. They're not part of the Apple club. Their messages turn green. So that kind of lets you know, okay, I have a fellow Apple user or I don't. And so and some people are willing to just buy an Apple device just so their messages can start turning blue, just so they can feel connected. Even if we try to do group messages and things like that, people don't want, I'm in a group chat right now. We refuse to add anybody that's not an iPhone user because it messes up the chat. So now that person who does not have an iPhone is left out. You don't get to be a part of the club. The person we finally let them in, they had an iPad and they had to join with their iMessages on their iPad because we were not going to let them in. Okay. So Apple is just one of the companies that does a phenomenal job around creating that community, and their products change, right? Some products get recycled out. They add new things. So it's not all about the products, right? It's about that community that you're a part of once you step into being an Apple product user. The last point is not keeping up with your industry. And so I think this is so interesting, but I know I was speaking to a client maybe last week. I want to say I was speaking to her, and she has an online boutique, and she was feeling a bit discouraged because she felt like, Instagram has changed a lot. A lot of people aren't getting traction on their posts and things like that. And so she felt really discouraged because she's like, I'm making content, but it doesn't seem to be getting a lot of engagement. I'm not getting a lot of sales. And one of the things I asked her, so she has her site on Shopify. And so one of the things I said to her, I was like, are you following Shopify? It's like they have free webinars. Because I used to be on Shopify too. I never even had a product-based business. I was on there with a digital-based business, but I'm not on there any longer. But I was using Shopify, and I know they have a podcast. They have free webinars. They have a blog. They're always interviewing some of their really successful users of the platform. They are talking about like what's new in e-commerce and marketing. Like they do a lot of free content. You don't even have to be a customer of Shopify to get access to it, but they definitely have a lot of things. Like if you're a Shopify user, they're always sending you those emails. I said, do you ever join any of those? Have you ever looked at their blog? Have you listened to the podcast? Do you join any of their free webinars and things like that? Because I was like, they're telling you ways to optimize your site, ways to optimize the platform. They're helping you kind of stay on top of the different trends in technology. Because she hadn't even realized that. I was like, the issues that you're having with Instagram are issues that everyone's having. Like a lot of people have been complaining, and various types of entrepreneurs and businesses and just regular users have been complaining and saying people aren't seeing my posts on Instagram. So I was like, everybody's been having this issue. But if she had been keeping up with industry information, checking out just even at minimum Shopify's resources, because they have a ton and they're leaders as far as hosting, they're leaders in the industry. So I was like, if you're just looking at their stuff, you could keep up with a lot of things, maybe get some new ideas of marketing strategies, things that you can be doing, really knowing kind of who the top players are on that platform and looking at their sites and seeing what they're doing, looking at their marketing strategy and seeing what they're doing and what you can adopt. So I do notice that if you want to be, and here's the thing, for those who are watching who want to leave their 9 to 5 and do this full time, you have to keep abreast of the news around your industry. And so if you do fashion, if you have cosmetics, whatever it may be, you really want to do your own, you want to keep up on your own of kind of like what competitors and things are doing, but you also want to be keeping in touch with publications, reading those on a regular basis to see what's new, what's changing, following people on YouTube that may be, if you have any type of business, you need to be looking at marketing news. following YouTubers that talk a lot about, like myself, okay, who are talking about what's happening in the marketing space. You want to stay on top of those things because, especially when you're running an online business, things are constantly changing. Platforms are changing. Something can be working one day and the next day it's not working anymore. So you really want to keep your hands and your fingertips on the pulse of what's happening in your business, because quite frankly, your livelihood depends upon it. So that's something I would say, and that's something easy to do. Even if you haven't started an online boutique, but you're thinking about it, that is something that you can easily just start getting tapped into within your daily schedule. Listening to podcasts. If you can't really sit down and read stuff, listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos. I'm on YouTube from the moment I wake up till I go to bed. I'm always, on YouTube. I'm always in podcasts and things like that. So you want to be doing that as well, and applying that information that you're learning as well to your own business. Wonderful. Yeah, so just to review what the 7 tips were. We have 1, having items that are common. So perhaps you're doing the drop shipping thing, or you're purchasing items from a wholesaler and selling them, and maybe they're accessible to people in other capacities, or other competitors are selling them. That can make this space super challenging. Number 2 is not building a community. So not building and engaging a community. So you want to really be building a community around your brand, because your product may change. So again, you're not building the community around the product. You're building the community around your brand. And your brand is who you are. It's what you stand for, right? It's what attracts people to you, because again, they can probably go out and buy whatever it is you have from a number of other places, but they're going to buy for you because there's something about your brand that resonates with them. So that's what you really have to find. What is it about me and my brand that's going to resonate with my target? Okay. Number 3 is only focusing on selling the item that you have. So all of your efforts, all of your marketing is just on focus on, look at this product, look at this product, look at this product. Again, unless it's some sort of cutting edge product that doesn't exist anywhere else, don't try to just focus your marketing solely on the product itself. Right? That's where the branding piece comes in. Number 4 is not being on the right social media channels. So some people are investing a lot of energy in channels that, depending on their target audience, depending on the items they sell, may not really give you that return on investment that you're looking for. Number 5 is we talked about not building a brand community. This is also like not engaging your community regularly, not providing them value on a regular basis. So, of course, if you haven't heard this already, which I'm sure so many of you have, if you have an audience on social media, make sure you have some way to take that audience off of social media and bring them into your email list, bring them into your text messaging list. You want to be able to contact them directly, because anything can happen to your social media channels and you completely lose access to everybody. And you do not want that to be you. So email marketing, text message marketing, experiential marketing needs to be part of your strategy if you want to be successful. And so where are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 is not keeping up with your industry. So not reading industry news, not staying on top of trends in terms of marketing, but also in terms of just in general, what's happening in your product industry as well. And then number 7 is not understanding your target audience. So of course, if you don't know who they are, you haven't identified them, you're not willing to focus your energy on a particular population of people, then you're going to find that you're not able to build that community, right? You don't have access to a lot of people outside of your social media. And so even if you create beautiful content, even when it comes to content on social media, right? A lot of us struggle with what to post, when to post, all of these things. Here's the thing. That doesn't even matter, right? It's really about understanding that audience and what they want to see, what would engage them. So, for example, if I have my audience is professional women between 25 and 45, then I may have clothing that they can wear in the office space and transition to happy hour after. And if I'm having content, I may have some content that shows, Reels is, people are doing so many fun things with Reels and fashion, using Instagram Reels and highlighting different forms of fashion. But you can maybe highlight how that woman is in a Reel video, how that woman is wearing her clothing from the office space to happy hour. You can host discussions and live streams with women who are in the professional space, and maybe they're giving information about how to dress for success in the workplace. Maybe they're giving information about how to get a promotion in the corporate workspace. Maybe they're giving advice on how to navigate different types of challenges as women in the workspace, how to negotiate salary. So you're providing value that is tangential to the product that you have, but it's not only focusing, again, all the energy on the product. So when someone becomes attracted to your community, they may not be just attracted to the clothing, right? They may come in and be attracted to some other form of content that you had, some other value in your brand experience that you were creating. They may come in through that way, and they're in your email list, they're in your text messaging list. So then they're getting the emails and they're going to check out your website and seeing your clothing and possibly making a purchase. So you have to be thinking about the entire lifestyle, the entire, what I call it is, what it's called in general. I'm not gonna say what I call it. What it's called is a brand journey, right? It's a customer journey. So you want to be understanding that person's journey, the things that are valuable to them, the information that they're having, the struggles they may be having in their life, and seeing how your brand can create experiences that address that, even if it's just not in the product itself, right? Even if it's creating an experience and making the product more of a side thing, right? You're still adding that value to them, and you're still creating that experience for them where they then feel a connection to you and your brand. So you really want to be thinking about that. If you have a spiritual based brand, start hosting, having spiritual based experiences. And now I keep bringing up online things and going live because, it's the pandemic, and a lot of us are virtual, right? Most of us are still virtual. A lot of us are still quarantined to some capacity. So you want to be thinking about, how can I create these online virtual unique experiences that are going to pull people into my ecosystem and prime them for a later experience with my clothing? What understanding your audience also does is it opens up opportunities for other forms of income. Because, of course, if you're doing a product-based business and you're not selling a product that is higher end or higher in cost, then in order for you to be profitable, you have to sell at volume, right? So if I'm selling a $15 candle, I have to sell a hell of a lot of candles to really make it profitable and to make sure that I'm paying whatever cost came with shipping the item and making the item. And then I also have to make a profit from that. And so it can take a lot of selling to get a business, a product-based business, to a place that it is doing so good that you can leave your job, you can hire more people, you can get into a warehouse, and you can grow into all those things. And so when you're thinking about that, it's important to think about, if you understand this audience, there could be some other revenue streams that you could be introducing to your brand that could support you in leaving your job, more specifically. So you might see some brands, and I'm trying to think of who I would suggest this is. I can't think of an example right off the bat, but because I keep thinking Shea Moisture, but they don't necessarily do this. But there are certain brands that have like conferences. For example, actually, you see that a lot in the service-based business, like a lot of software that us as service-based businesses do. Like a lot of those software companies, they sell their software to people, but they also will have a conference every year, right? And so at that conference, people buy their tickets. They get a chance to learn more and have more of an experience with the brand. They get to learn super valuable information. They get to meet other people, and it does that thing that I was talking about, right? It connects that person to the brand and to other people that are also within that brand ecosystem as well. So it opens up opportunity for things like that. So if you have a spiritual based brand, there's opportunities to host retreats. There's opportunities to host events or conferences or doing live events and things like that that engage that audience, but don't completely focus all around on the product, right? That's why we see brands, at least pre-pandemic, we'll see them have activations and presence at, concerts, festivals, different types of brand activations, things like that, because they're trying to create an experience for people, and that person associate that experience with that brand, which can later convert to a sale. So that is kind of the way that we have to start thinking about our branding and marketing in general. And so when you are in this product business space, it's easy to fall, it's a challenging space for the reasons that I mentioned before, right? It's not easy. It's not easy to be in this space, but it's totally possible to be successful. But you really have to be rooted in understanding what your brand is, right? And who it is that you want to connect with and how you're going to create an experience for them through your brand that, again, connects that person to the brand and to the other people within the ecosystem. It's that simple, right? That's how you have to start thinking about it. So if anyone has questions or you're in the chat, feel free to ask. Where are we on time? So about 38 minutes in. So if anyone has any questions, I definitely want to address them. I know I've been talking for a good little minute. This gives me an opportunity to grab a sip of water. So if you have some questions, I would love to take them. I think I'm also going to be back live tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure. I have a whole list of topics that I want to talk about. And my aim is to be live here a couple of times a week, to go live on Clubhouse a little bit as well. So if you join the She Live Club by texting the number below, you will get text messages each time I'm live. I realize for me, sometimes setting a time and then telling someone I'm going to be there at that time doesn't always work. Sometimes I have tech issues. So it's great for me to just be able to text and say, hey, I'm live, y'all. Check it out. So yes, so go ahead and comments. I think the comments are on the side since I'm live. Yes. So text that number if you want to know when I'm going to be live in the future. My aim is to go live a few times a week on various platforms, mostly IG, Clubhouse, and here on YouTube. And if you like this content, definitely like and subscribe to your girl. Give me a little support. My goal is to get to my 1K subscribers. Let me see. I need to put I need to make that a smart goal, right? So I need to make it a date. Let's say by June, because I think I'm almost at 300 subscribers. So let's say by June, I want to be at 1K. Can we do it? Can we do it, y'all? Support me in doing that, okay? Support me in doing that, please, if you like this kinds of content and you are a business owner. Hey, Lillian. How are you? Lillian's in the building, always supporting. It's great to have you. This is a little different from what usually I'm here. Lillian, you join me when I'm here with other people. So I'm just hanging out by myself. So I plan to do this. I got a cool new overlay here. I feel cute. Got my living room in the back with my art. This is definitely an angel vibe here. So yeah, Lillian, if you're not already a part of the She Live Club, please join. Love to have you be a member. And I may take this conversation on over to Instagram and see what they're talking about over there. I may do that shortly. Yes. So if you want to check out my Build Your Brand from Scratch masterclass is completely free. You can go ahead and click the link in my description box below and pick a selected time to check out that class. It's really good. And after the class is over, I do invite people to work with me in my group coaching program, where I actually take you through the process of building out your brand from scratch. So some people may have questions around working with me, and I'll give you a little info on how you can do that. And if you want to learn more about doing that, you can definitely visit my website, brandcoachangel.com. But I work with clients in two capacities. I have a group coaching program called the Build Your Brand from Scratch Bootcamp. That program, I actually work with people who are in their 9-to-5 jobs, wanting to transition out, and they have a business idea, but they're not really sure how to get it off the ground. And so I actually work with you through the framework that I talk about in my free masterclass. I break that framework down into actionable steps. And so I actually work with you to get through each step of the framework. And so basically by the end of the program, you have your brand, right? I have some bonus classes on there as well around getting your LLC, getting your intellectual property and your trademarks, as well as creating your pricing and your packaging and your exit strategy for leaving your job. Okay. And so this program is comprised of both like traditional coursework and also, and I keep hitting the mic, I'm sorry about that, if that's creating some extra noise. So it's a combination of traditional coursework and also group coaching. So you have a combination of having coursework, but what's cool about it is a lot of times, a lot of people have bought courses and things like that. And then it's like you work through the course on your own, and then it's up to you to figure out how to apply the information. And I've totally been there, and I buy courses all the time. And I'm like, okay, now you've told me this, but how do I apply it? Like, I need someone to talk to. I need someone to help me. So in this program, you have group coaching with me and the other participants. So you're getting insight as you're reflecting and working through this information. You're getting insight from the other people in the program, as well as myself every week. So you don't feel like you're alone. You have a community as you're working through this process. And let me tell you, when I was starting my business, I wish I had somebody to help me. I wish I had a community to go to. So if that's what you need and you feel like that's a good fit for you, definitely check that out. The first step would be checking out the masterclass. So where I share with you the framework, and then I share with you an opportunity to book a call with me and we can talk about it more. And then the second way I work with people is one-on-one coaching. And so that is where I work with folks who are typically have already been operating their business as a side hustle, or maybe they finished the Brand from Scratch Bootcamp program. And I really support people at that point where it's like you've built your business out and now you want to learn how to scale your income to a place where you can leave your job officially, right? And like you got your business concept strong, you got your brand strong, and now you're like, I am ready to go. I'm ready to get out of here. Okay. But I need to, I need my business to generate some more revenue for me to be able to do that. So we really focus on that. In the one-on-one, we focus on marketing, sales, pricing, those kind of things, so that we can really get you out of the 9-to-5 world within typically about 6 months, sometimes 12, depending on where people are. But ideally before that, some people 3. It really just depends on where you are. And with the one-on-one, I work with people between 3, 6, and 12 months. So that is a more of a longer term time frame that I'm working with people. And then with the group coaching program, it's a minimum of 8 weeks. But of course, people get access to the program longer. So you kind of have a combination of self-pacing, but also, so ideally, if you're able to get through it in 8 weeks, you should be able to do that. But if something comes up, you do have some flexibility if you need to take a week off, because sometimes that happens with people, especially when they're working their, 9-to-5s, or things come up in your life. So definitely, if you want to learn more about that, you can join the masterclass. You can also just check out my website, brandcoachangel.com, and there's more information about that. And we can also set up a call to talk more if you are interested. So Lillian, I think you said you had a question. So Lillian says, I have a target audience I want to market to, but I'm having trouble finding out more about them. And you also said you like the art in my background and it's on brand for me. Thank you so much. Yes, I appreciate it. Yeah, trying some new stuff. Yeah, so you have a target audience and you want to market to them. So there's a combination of ways that I recommend for clients to do this, especially because most of us who are probably watching this are like solopreneurs, right? It's just us for the most part. Maybe we have a partner, but for most of us, it's just us that is running this business. So number one, of course, you're making personal assumptions. Like the first step is you're going to make personal assumptions about who you think your client is. That's going to be the first step, right? And a lot of us start businesses to serve people who are similar to us. So we may kind of fit into our target market. So we may make some assumptions about them based on like our own experience if we are part of our target audience demographic. The second thing you're going to do, well, after that, right, you make your personal assumptions about who these people are. And so when I talk about these personal assumptions, you're making assumptions around their demographics, gender, if applicable, socioeconomic status, career, education, and so on, right? Beliefs, values, fears, hopes, dreams, all of those things. Okay. So essentially what I was saying was when you're doing your customer, you want to be doing a combination of making assumptions, looking at third-party customer research reports, interviewing your customers, and then also doing social listening on sites like YouTube, review sites, Clubhouse. I'm here for doing social listening on Clubhouse because people are literally running their mouth over there. Facebook groups are great. That's where people give reviews and recommendations about things. So of course, when you know your target audience, or at least have an idea of who it is you want to target, you're able to get more out of this customer research portion. And so when people go through my coaching programs, I actually have a framework that I share with you of how you do your customer knowledge portion of your brand. And so how you begin to gather this information, because of course you're making assumptions at first, but you want to have real information from people as well as from research reports that is going to support what it is that you are that you believe to be true or that you think is true. And so, yeah, it's very important to start to get to know your people. And so, and ideally when you're doing your one-on-one interviews, you want to interview people who already spend money in your category. And your category is your business industry. So you want to be talking to people. If you do a hair product, a certain maybe natural hair product, you want to speak to people who already purchase who wear their hair natural and are already purchased products for natural hair. They're going to give you a lot more specifics of what they like, what they don't like, what they buy, what they don't buy, what products they rock with, what they don't rock with, what they care about. Like they're going to give it to you. They're going to run it down for you. But if you're working with people who don't really spend money in that category, everything that they're saying is super hypothetical. So you want to work with people who are already spending money purchasing that kind of thing or have in the past. That's going to, thank you, Lily. Lillian said, it happens. I know, girl. It does. It does. Hopefully I can cut that out. So I have to find it once I'm done. But yeah, does anyone have any other questions? And while I'm waiting, like, subscribe, go ahead and join the She Live Club by texting She Live to the number below at the bottom of your screen, so I can let you know each time I'm live and in charge for the people. Because I think also, you know, I'm streaming on my phone. I think it might die shortly, so. Yes. Are we good on questions? I'm going to give it a minute. And feel free again, as we're waiting, folks who want to watch that free masterclass, definitely check it out. It's in my description box where I'm sharing the framework for how to build your brand from scratch. I'm sharing that completely free. And then at the end, I do offer an opportunity for folks who want to join my group coaching program to be able to do so. So it's a really great opportunity. People who have come through that masterclass just tell me that it really has them, even folks who already have an established business tell me that it helps them to think about their business a little bit differently, maybe fortify any aspects of their brand that are weak. And then, of course, for folks who are just starting out, it really helps you to be starting to ask yourself the questions that you need to answer so that you are prepared to come into a space where you can really launch your business and market effectively. Yes, the link is in the description for the class. And then if you want to join She Live, the information is in the description box, and it's also at the bottom of my screen as well. Yeah, so I feel my throat getting a little scratchy, you guys. I told you I'm coming off of sickness here. So before I just start sounding horrible, I am going to go ahead and wrap this up, but I want to thank you so much for joining me. And I'm going to be here tomorrow, and I will text you if you join the She Live Club again. I'll text you what time it'll be tomorrow evening again with a new topic. I have a whole list, but if you have any suggestions for things you want me to talk about and address here, go ahead and let me know in the comments. If you're watching on the replay, it'll be in the comments below. If you're watching live, you can go ahead and leave it in the live comments. And I will talk to you soon. Have a good one. Hey. All right, in the broadcast. See y'all later.